Hi guys, my name is Ethan. Today I'm going to be working on Honda K-Series head. This is going to be for K20 or K24 head. I'm going to be showing you guys how to completely assemble down to the valves and the valve guides and build it all the way up to the springs and retainers. This is my first video, so if you guys don't know me, I drive a 2007 Civic Si. It's completely turbocharged. All the work is done by myself. This head was just resurfaced at the machine shop, so it's all getting ready to slap onto my engine here. Alright, so just going over some of the tools you guys are going to need. One of them is going to be a 10 millimeter deep socket. Now this is going to be to knock over your valve seals that are going to go over your valve guides here. Next thing you're going to need is a set of valve seals, obviously for K-Series. These ones are Triton. They're supposed to be for high temperature. So you can either get Super Tech or these ones. I like these ones more. 4-piston sells them. Now, alternative for using the 10 mil socket is going to be this tool that 4-piston sells. So this is machined properly. I don't know if you guys can see that, to fit that K-Series valve seal inside of here. I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. Next thing you're going to need is obviously your valve guides. Here's an extra one I have. These are magnesium bronze valve guides. I have already installed them. If you want high horsepower, you're going to want to switch to magnesium bronze guides like this. Next tool you're going to need is a drill. This is just a Milwaukee M12 drill. And I have a valve guide reamer on this end here, if my camera will focus here. Come on. Come on. So this actually has metal cutters on the edge here. And what that does is it cuts the diameter of this valve guide. Alright. So you're going to need a drill with a 5.5 millimeter valve guide reamer. Next thing you're going to need is a set of valve seats. These are from Super Tech. Alright. Then you're going to need your retainers. These are also from Super Tech. These are titanium retainers. And then you're going to need a set of springs. These are also Super Tech. These are dual valve springs. So there's actually 2 springs inside of one. Very nice set of springs. You're going to need your keepers. These are also Super Tech. Those are 7-degree keepers. You're going to need your valves. These are also Super Tech. And then your best friend is going to be this guy. You're going to want a magnetic screwdriver with a magnet at the back. This is going to help you so you can fish in those keepers. All right. A lot of tools. Oh, also you're going to need valve lapper. Right, these guys are going to stick onto your valves, and you're going to be able to lap your valves and some valve guiding compound. Then last thing, you're going to need a spring compressor. This one is specifically for K-Series. It'll mount up just like this, and then you'll be able to compress your spring with this bolt down here and this little cup right here. Yep. Last thing you're going to need is some assembly lube. I like this Permatex Ultra Slick. And you're going to need a little bit of oil. That's basically everything you're going to need to be able to assemble this head and make a 1,000 horsepower K24, K20 head. Alright, other than that, let's get into building. Okay guys, so this is where your bread and butter is at. Now, when you guys disassemble the head, alright, and you get it down and you take it to the machine shop, what I want you guys to do is I want you to have them resurface it, and I want you to have them do a valve job. All right, what they're gonna do is they're gonna take these stones, and those stones are gonna cut your seats here. All right, so if you can see, this is a 3-degree valve job. Now what does that mean? That means there's 3 different angles inside of this valve that help promote airflow. So this right here is your 30. This one, right? Then you have your 45, which is this very shiny part. And then down here is your 60. So we go from 30, 45 to 60. Now the reason that being is to help promote airflow, right? Because you want your head to flow good. So with performance engines like this, the more degree you have, the better your head is going to flow. Now I did a 3-degree valve job on my head, all right? And that is pretty good. That's pretty optimal for what I'm going for right now. Some places will do 5-degree jobs. I think that's overkill. I think 3-degree is perfectly fine. Now, once you get your head resurfaced and you get that valve job done, these will be nice and shiny. You're going to come home and you're going to get your valves. All right, these are Super Tech. You're going to take your valve and you're going to insert it into the guide. But guess what? It's not going to go because you need to size your guides. So what you're going to do with this is you're going to size your guides. Remember the reamer we talked about? And that's what's going to cut your guides. All right, that's what's going to cut the bronze guides there, all right? All right, so with your reamer here, all right, you got your reamer on your drill. Here's your valve guide. I'm not going to do this on the head, all right, because my guides are already sized. But bronze and magnesium guides, all right, guys, these guides do not come sized from factory. So if I try to take my valve, and if I try to put my valve through the guide, it's not going to go, right? It's going to be really, really rough to get in there, right? And we don't want that. We want these guides to flow nice and easy. You want it to be able to go in and out with like a breeze, right? Because you have clearance inside of here. That's called your valve to guide clearance. You want about 2,000ths to 3,000ths, or 3,000ths to 4,000ths is usually the money mark, all right? So you'll take your valve guide reamer and you'll install these, right? Once these are installed in the head, you'll take your reamer. Always, always, always go from the bottom, right? So this is going to be the bottom of the valve guide. You'll go through, right? You'll ream the valve guide out, going nice and slow, making sure you're going steady, right? You'll go all the way through. Then once this valve guide is reamed out, it's going to take a while, a couple, maybe like 20 passes going in and out. Then after that, you'll get a wire brush. Harbor Freight sells them. You'll run your wire brush, your little pipe cleaner through there a couple times, right? And you'll know it's sized out correctly when you can slide your valve in there like butter, right? It should just literally fall right into the guide. As you can see, this one's not sized correctly, right? Because this is brand new. I haven't sized it yet. But it should be able to just fall right in there without any resistance, right? And if you can move the valve up and down, that means you went too far. You should be able to slide it in the head and be able to move it just a hair, right? Maybe 1,000ths of clearance up and down, right? You don't want any more than 4,000ths of clearance, otherwise you're gonna leak oil into the combustion chamber. So you got to be careful when you're doing this and go slow, all right? Make sure you get a good reamer. If you get a bad reamer, you're gonna be there all day trying to cut bronze. Bronze is super hard to cut. You can't use no cast iron valve guide reamer. You got to have a nice high-speed carbon cutter, all right? High carbide cutter, that's the word I was looking for. All right, guys? But yes, after you get your valve job done, you're going to install your valve guides, all right? Now, if you go with cast iron valve guides, which are what comes with the head factory, you won't need to worry about sizing them as they already come sized to fit. You'll just order the normal 5.5 millimeter valves, and they will slide right in like butter. But if you do end up going with magnesium or bronze, you will have to size these. Again, you will have to size these, all right? But once you have your valve guides sized, all nice and easy, you'll want to run your pipe cleaner through all the guides. All right. Once you ran through all the guides and make sure there's nothing in there, you can do what's called valve lapping. So we'll do an intake valve. So you'll get your valve and you'll put some compound. You'll put a little dab on this side, rotate it 180 degrees, put a little dab on this side. Right? You'll get your the correct size lapper. These are just suction cupped. So you'll push this on here. Once you have this on here, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take it through your valve guide hole. Once it's through that hole, all you're gonna do is you'll push on it, you'll pull it up, and you're just gonna rotate it side to side like this. And you're gonna pull up, push it back down, and rotate. And you'll know, because you'll hear the grinding sound. That's how you know you're getting the seat cut. Now, when you look at your seat on your valve, you'll see a darkish gray line in between the valve here. All right. And that means your money. If you see the darkish gray line in between the seat on the valve, that means you're good. Some people, if you run it too low, that means your valve was not sized correct, or your guide was not sized correctly. If it's a little low, down, let's say down here maybe, right? So let's say you lap your valves and it ends up being, you know, down here. That's where your gray line is. You're gonna have to lap some more on your head so you can push that line up about in the middle here. That's where you want it. Some people run it higher and they say that's better for cooling your valves. Whatever you want to believe, but I've always ran them right in the middle. That's a sweet spot. All right. So once you lap your valves, you'll be all good. So my valves are all already lapped. So now I'm basically ready for assembly. Okay, guys. So we are officially all ready for assembly. Now, you never want to put these valves into the guides dry. So what I got here is, you know, just some 5W30, which is the same oil that the engine's going to be having. I'll take the tip of my valve. This is the tip. I'll just coat it in some oil. All right. Once I got some oil on there, slide it through the hole and push it down. And I'll do these for all the valves. Okay, so boom, guys, we got our head. We got all of our valves installed in the head. Now we can very carefully flip this guy over. Now, when you get this back from the machine shop, you're gonna want to make sure that you're always setting it on the poly, the bag that they give you. All right, because you do not want to scratch the surface of that head. So now that we got all of our valves installed, as you can see how nicely they look, all right? You can see how beautiful, right, they look on those bronze guides there. So now we can start assembling. So we'll take our seat, which is this guy, this little black guy right here. Pause. We'll put this down right over the retainer there. So I'm gonna get a little close up so you guys can see here on what I'm doing. All I'm taking is the seat here, right? And I'm just slipping this guy over and setting him down. All right. So I'll go ahead and do this for all the other seats. Now, do this in order that I'm doing it. If you try to put the seals first, it's not going to work and you're going to wreck the seals. You have to put the seats first. So you'll just slip these over on all the on all the guides. All right. So now that we got all of our valve seats installed, since these are new valves, I'm not going to check the install height. If you guys want a video on how to check install height, I can do that. But really all we're going to do now is we're going to install the seals. So if you get SuperTech or OEM ones, they will you will have 8 almost brown ones, and then you'll have 8 blue ones. The brown ones are intake, I'm pretty sure. Or no, the brown ones are exhaust, and the blue ones are going to be intake. Now what I like to do is I'll take the whole seal and I'll dip it in some oil, just like that. So then once you got your seal dipped in that oil, right? The most important part is that you get the inside of the seal coated, all right? Because that part is the part that seals around your valve. So now all you'll have to do is line up your valve with your seal. You'll push down. As you push down, it'll sit the valve down. Boom. And then you'll just pull up, and now it's installed. All right. So you'll just go around doing this for all of them, and then I'll show you what you do after that. All right. So once you guys got your valve seals all installed and they're all pushed down, really all that's left to do. So this one was actually being a little bit tricky. So sometimes with these valve seals, they won't want to sit right. So what you gotta do sometimes is you'll get a hammer with either your 10mm socket, and you'll just whack it down. Okay, so this is actually great. Let me show you guys what happened with this valve seal. So this one won't be good anymore. So as you can see, the retaining clip on this one actually broke. But thanks to 4-piston, they gave me one extra. So as long as we don't fuck this one up, we'll be good. But all you'll do is you'll just push those valve seals down with the hammer there and push them down. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this one. All right. So I went ahead and finished up all the valve seals. So this is what it should look like right now. All right. We got all of our valve seals. They should all be almost at the equal height. And how you can check this is if you can pull them up. If you can't pull them up, you're good. All right. So you'll want to go around trying to grab and pull them up. Move them side to side. They shouldn't move side to side or be able to pull up. If they can't do either of those, you're all set. And they should relatively look all level, like they're all hit down at the same level. But now we're ready for the next step, which is going to be our valve spring, our retainer, and our keepers. So all we got to do is we're going to compress this spring, right? Get it down far enough to where we can get our keeper around that groove right there. So when I say keeper, this is what a keeper is if you don't know. Right? It's this little black piece. Right? And it's got a groove machined into the physical keeper. That groove there goes under the groove on the valve. Okay, so judging that this video is already about 20 minutes, we're going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to save the springs, the install on the springs, the retainers, and the keepers for part 2. And I'll talk about different spring rates and how that affects stuff, and the difference between, you know, what degree keeper you have and stuff, and why that matters. I feel like we covered a lot in this video, and I don't want to overload you guys, so I'm going to call that good for part 1. And part 2 will have the spring install and everything else. So hopefully you guys can watch both parts. If not, thank you for watching this video, and drive safe.